Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming. Let's talk a little bit of 49er football. If you stick around, you might hear one of my dad jokes.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's definitely a morning. If you survived last night, you survived, and we're so glad you're here. So I was gonna do a salary cap show this morning. I have a special guest on, Jason Hurley. Maybe he's just running a little late, but we're gonna go ahead and start the show. And if something happens and we have to admit from the schedule and do a little different, then we'll do a little bit different. But for the time being, thank you all for coming, and hope you guys got your coffee cup. So again, if you survived, you survived. Last night we were on a show on No Border Sports. It was a very epic. If you haven't seen it, if you were just hearing about it, every Friday there's a call-in show, and we just get on. We go for a while. We talk about stuff that comes to the mind, and it was great. It was really great. If you go to the end of the show, there was a lot of things that got maybe hashed out a little bit. Hopefully, something can change, because at the end of the day, we're a community and we all want to be together, and not necessarily be together, but we all want to be able to have a safe place to be able to say our opinions. So, but again, today is that day we were supposed to be talking about the draft capital, and I have Jason, so I'm going to hold off on talking about that just for a minute before too long. But if you guys haven't heard, salary cap is upon us. It's the era of the salary cap. It's the time that this is where the NFL gets to choose and gets to kind of manipulate teams. Bigger teams with more money will, can't really say they have more money, but teams that have a little bit more money definitely can stay proactive. They can stay where competitive. And right now we're just at a point where this isn't the NBA and it's not baseball. So they are definitely trying to make it fair for teams that aren't necessarily the biggest market team. But with that being said, we still have a handful of teams that haven't made it to the Super Bowl, and it doesn't look like they're going to be making the Super Bowl anytime soon. Unless something dramatically happens in the next 10 years, I see us having repeat Super Bowl contenders. I don't see somebody coming in just yet. So I got Ryan here. What's up, Ryan? Good morning. I got Damian Lee here. Good morning, Damian. Bebop Jones. Good morning, Steve-O. We got Joe. And Bebop brings up a good point, a great point. What about Buda Baker? What about Buda Baker? Well, the thing with Buda Baker is he's probably not going to get traded to us. You just don't. Sometimes you just don't trade inside your division. It is what it is. But he's definitely a good player, and he's been a good player for a while. So that's a. It's weird when players ask for a trade. You have to really think, like, why are they asking for a trade? Is it just about money? Is it more than money? Is it more like some kind of, like, we're not gelling together? My family's not happy here. So I know sometimes people will change careers because family. Sometimes because they just want to make more money. But when a player comes out and says, "Hey, I want to trade," what are they doing? They're throwing the ball at the other team. They're throwing it at their team, and they're saying, "Hey, pay me, or we're gonna have a problem, or fix the situation, or we're gonna have a problem because I'm not happy right now." Sometimes they don't get traded. Sometimes it's just again, a marketing ploy, or somehow they can just be like. But are you guys excited about free agency? Are you guys excited about the draft? I definitely am. Free agency is coming. It's coming very shortly, and the draft is coming as well. I think once we get the draft taken care of, and we'll fill our needs for best player available. I think from there, the sky's the limit. This roster, I want to say we got 60 something players right now. We have to get up to 90, and then of course those 90 won't all stay, but it will be the best players on the field that end up staying. Steve says, "Can we afford Buda Baker's $15 million in drafted players restructuring CMC, or would it be better post June 1st?" Well, there's 4 players that we can restructure, and CMC would be one of the players that we could restructure. But I don't see him getting traded to us. And for 15 million for a player that's not a quarterback, I don't know. I don't know if that's really what the Niners want to do. I think we could probably get cheaper. I think we can definitely get cheaper in the draft. So, and then we said Buddha told them to trade in February or make him the highest paid safety. Yeah, good point. It's saying you will need to connect your mic before you can add them to the stream. Okay, so Ryan, you'll have to add your mic. Maybe you did. But it's one of those mornings.
Oh.
Good morning, Ryan.
Can't hear me?
I can hear you now.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Yep.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, first when I went to click on your icon, it said you need to click or something. So, but
it might have been, I don't know.
You're bright and early. You survived the night.
What a crazy night.
Man, how many Niner wraps did we get last night?
Well, we didn't get any Niner wraps last night, but we got multiple wraps.
Yeah, that was a show. And I think it needed to happen. I don't know if anything good came from it.
On so many levels.
You know, I really do hope something good comes from it, but you know, at least you give them the opportunity to try, you know.
Oh, Bebop. Oh, so a little bit later I'm going to go back and put timestamps in it. So give me a couple hours and then definitely go back in and click on the view and check it out. But holy moly, Bebop. It's 8 hours of, we probably only spoke about the 49ers for maybe about 45 minutes in 8 hours.
Oh yeah.
And the rest is like a derailment. It's like the rest is all a derailment, Bebop.
Yeah, we had a show and tell last night. We had, a sing along. We had friendly discussion in the beginning, and then we had a little, I don't know, we'll say.
We had some shit talking.
Yep.
And we had, it was an eventful night. Oh, don't forget we had the wrestler in here trolling.
Yeah, we definitely had we had some guests, and it's exciting because that's how people are watching. More and more people are coming. More and more people are coming.
And that was an 8 hour stream. It definitely was. And we're back here 7 hours later, bringing you content. Yep.
Giving it to you because one, I enjoy it, and then I know other people enjoy it, and just doing it just to say good morning to our friends, and we probably won't keep this a long show because it's just kind of that. I didn't really sleep last night. I
Where's
went
Jason
out there to I got him now. I just got him now. So we're bringing him in now.
Wonderful.
Hey guys.
Jason?
Sorry about that. Hey,
you're
running a little late today.
Bro.
No worries. Thanks for making it.
It's crazy. We're even up right now. We were up till 2:00 Pacific time last night doing an 8 hour stream.
Oh, wow. Long.
Bro.
Yeah.
It was a derailment from about after an hour in. It was all a train derailment the whole time. It was of immense proportions. It was around every corner. There's something for everybody. It's a masterpiece of an 8 hour stream. Let's just say that.
Yeah, it really touched everything. I think there were some moments where people laughed, they cried. There was definitely some moments. There were some cuss words, and we had a show and tell last night, so it was fun.
And somebody told way too much.
Yeah. I went outside, not outside, but out to the living room, and Tony's there, and she's up, baby's up, and I'm like, hey. She's like, what's going on? Because I was still laughing, and I was like, I gotta show you. So we started like diving into it. And I don't know. We watched probably a good portion of it. So 8 hours. That's we're gonna go.
You know,
catch
it's a
more.
good stream when the people on the stream themselves have to stop and go back and watch parts of it. Joe Stevens had to do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, like 8 hours. You got to get up. You got to go to the bathroom. You know, you might need to go get new refreshment. You know, and again, you know, maybe your phone gets too hot and you got to go put it in the freezer or something.
Oh
Yeah.
no, I've got a broken rib, Jason. So like the laughing that I did last night was immensely painful at times, but so worth it.
Ow. That hurts to have a broken rib.
I'm 2 weeks in, so we're doing better. But let's
So,
get to
hey, Jason,
Jason.
one of the questions we were talking about last night, the big discussion, and I'd like to get your thoughts on it just a little bit, and then we'll go into the salary cap. First off, thank you for coming
Yeah.
again, and
Yeah, no
really
problem.
appreciate it. Would you like to take a minute here and tell everybody just a little bit more about you? You've probably done it on a million streams, but not everybody on my stream knows you.
Yeah, I covered the 49ers salary cap for basically since 2005 online. I did it before I started in high school, didn't really know the book, thought it was geeky, I
It's hard
got
to hear
all
you,
this
Jason.
before. Can you hear me?
It's hard to hear you. I don't know what's going on.
Hold on.
I thought you might have had your finger over the mic port, but you got your earphones in, so I don't know what it could be.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, good.
Okay, cool. So basically, I started this in 2005 online. I started doing this really in high school, and I did it as like a hobby. Like I thought it was kind of like geeky. I kept it away from my mother because I thought it was like a nerd. And anyway, it's evolved over the years. So basically, I just cover the salary cap for the 49ers at 49ers Cap on Twitter. 49erscap.com is where you can find my information or, all the stuff about the salary cap for the 49ers. So that's about it.
Did you work at all with your high school team at all? Did you do anything with them at all during the high school years?
No.
Because I know my high school team, we had guys that didn't play, but they were like associated with the team, and they were doing stats and they were checking out film and stuff like that. And they were kind of like, more attached to the coaches than they were, talking with the players. But no,
Right.
it's helpful.
Yeah.
Did you play any sports in high school?
I played 1 year of basketball. That was about it.
Did you like it?
Base. I didn't play much. I was a freshman.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
JV, I think it was junior varsity is what it's called, or was back then. Yeah, I went through a rough patch in high school with my mental health issues. Back then, it wasn't really widely, known. People didn't want to believe it, type thing. So
And
I didn't
high
do
school
much.
is a horrible place for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. So that's pretty much why I was pretty much homeschooled for high school. I would go a couple days.
That's one thing I think about with my daughter.
Yeah, especially nowadays, what's going on in schools. I don't want to get political or anything, but
no, you're good.
It's ridiculous. No, it's ridiculous. We can't pass gun laws. That's all.
Yeah. For me, I went to high school. I played freshman football and loved it. But as I'm going through, high school, the before high school started, training camp, Hell Week, all that, I'm starting to notice less and less of my friends on the field. And then I started noticing I'm the only guy during the season that made it out of my little group of guys. And I'm not the biggest guy. My friends had more talent than me. And I'm like, how did I make the team? And they didn't make the team. Well, grades have a lot to do with it. Grades have a lot to do
Yep.
with it. And
Yep.
then you have to keep showing up to practice, and,
Exactly.
sometimes you're tired and stuff. And, like for me, I had to walk like almost 2 miles home after practice. So it was definitely a commitment for me. But regardless if I was playing football or not, I'd still have to walk that far home, from school. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna try to have some fun. So I played freshman football and I went out for JV too. But like the practices, I started noticing like really like these guys. I don't really get along with these guys, and they don't
Yeah.
really call me Bryant. And I had a nickname. Have you ever seen the movie Simon Birch?
No.
Okay, it's a movie about this little guy, little fella, and he's got a degenerating disease, and he keeps telling everybody he's going to be a hero. God made him a purpose, and he's going to be a hero. Well, at the end of the movie, I won't ruin the movie for you. And there's a book. It's called A Prayer for Owen Mean. If you guys get a chance to read it, but everybody has a purpose, and your purpose might
Right.
not be on the football team. Your purpose could be, whatever. So Owen Meany or Simon Birch, they started nicknaming me that because I had glasses and big teeth. So I'm like, all right, I could take it for a little while. But then when that second season came around, and I'm like, wow, none of my friends are trying out for the team again. These guys, I'm playing football. I'm like, do I keep going? Because sometimes when you just keep going to something, you get into the groove, you fit in, right? And then people respect you
Yeah.
because you keep showing up. But at that point, I don't know. I started getting into drama. I started getting into speech and debate more. I started getting into the academic decathlon. So there was a lot of things. But then my biggest thing is I started hanging out with girls, and I started cutting school. So once I cut school for about 2.5 years.
Tony.
And once my mom and dad found out I was cutting school, they's like, "Hey, you can just go to homeschool." So I was homeschooled like my junior year to my senior year. I did graduate early, and I got a job afterwards. So things are different for different people. But if you get a chance to do sports and anyone's listening, stick with it because you get a lot out of it,
Yeah.
and you get more out of it than you realize at the time. But that's what I wanted to ask.
When
What
I
about
started when I started football, my dad was like, "All right, I'm going to buy you these cleats." And they were molded cleats. And he's like, "If you quit the team, I'm going to sand these cleats down and this is going to be your daily shoes. So don't think that, I'm not going out here to buy you cleats for you to, just." And I was like, "Yeah, no problem, Dad. Like, I'm going to play football. Like, we hitting people out here." You know what I'm saying? But he was like, "You don't start something and then not finish it." That was his big thing. You don't
Exactly.
start a sport
Yeah.
and not finish it. You cannot you
Mhm.
cannot go out, try out for it next year. That's perfectly fine. The only thing I started and didn't finish was track. And I was just like, nah. But I switched sports. I became a student athletic trainer for the fast pitch softball team. Oh, bro. Oh, bro. Any young kids out there listening? It was a smart move. It was a very smart move.
Yeah, that's really cool. I wanted to be like that, the medical nurse on the side of the field, the students, and just didn't get to stick around in high school long enough to be able to do that. But
There's
that's
so much good training you could get to get yourself that next bump coming out of high school. Let's say you're not going to go to college, but you could take the knowledge that you learned in student athletic training classes, and you could start that towards being an EMT, licensed massage practitioner, lots of things. There's lots of it's a doorway to a lot of careers in rehab and all that type of stuff. So it's good.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
a good class to take.
So Jason, the question that I wanted to ask you is a little bit like what we were talking about last night. And again, I don't want to go into too much detail. Me and Ryan already give our thoughts on it. But what are your thoughts on the Washington Commanders, the owner, and Roger Goodell, and John Gruden being the only one affected by the emails? You think that's a little weird?
Yeah, it's a little weird. I've never been a fan of Dan Snyder. I've never been a fan of Roger Goodell. I think he's more of a puppet for the owner than he is anything else.
So much of a puppet, might as well name him Mitt.
Yeah, we were kind of thinking last night. Ryan made a good point. This might be Roger Goodell's last hurrah after Snyder relinquishes the team or we get a new owner in here. So
more so like when the court case comes due finally, like when the stuff comes out
Yeah.
and the dust settles, I feel like this is his last legal battle, you know, with the NFL as commissioner.
Yeah. I feel bad for the people that worked for the organization, having to go through that workplace environment. Such a just terrible workplace environment. It's sad that in this day and age that we have that. Okay, it's one thing to have it at Walmart, but it's another thing to have it at a billion-dollar corporation company that's a football team, a sports team. You're not
hey, do you
supposed to
know?
have that. Go ahead.
I was going to ask you because you said Walmart and stuff like that, and like, is it true that the Rams, Walmart owns the Rams, and the Broncos are owned by the Walmart owns the Broncos and the Rams? Is there any stock to that?
I don't know 100%. I forget who bought the Broncos. Was it the Koch brothers?
No, it wasn't the Koch brothers. It's one of the
Koch brothers.
It's one of the Waltons.
Oh, right. That's right. The Waltons bought it.
Well, it's not necessary.
Yeah.
I don't think their last name is Walton, but they are Walton essentially.
Oh, okay. Basically like a relative type thing.
Yeah, like
Okay.
it's like the husband of the daughter, you know what I mean? Or like the,
Yeah,
somebody,
yeah.
she took his name, but the woman's like in the bloodline, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know exactly who owns the Rams and the Broncos then. I don't know if Walmart. I'm not sure where that came from. Not really sure.
Yeah,
That
because
kind of thing I really don't know about.
Yeah, I wasn't sure either because I've seen it out there and I wasn't sure if it was a joke or if it's real because I've heard other people say it, and I'm like, so I wanted to ask, but what what's your thoughts on Prague and owning that soccer team?
Ooh, I happy for him. Very happy for him, but I hope he still has the time to, be the cap guru that he is for the 49ers. I really hope so, because the cap is such a unique thing and it's very tough to understand. And this guy, Prague, he knows it. And there's a reason why he's been around since like the Donahue era. I think he was around when Jed took over, somewhere after when Jed took over, or his parents took over.
Yeah, because I think he precedes. I could be wrong, but I think he precedes Jed York, or not Jed York. John, yeah, Jed York, because I think John York was in charge of the team when Prague first came on. But I could be wrong.
Yeah. It's such a long time ago that I can't remember 100% who when Prague started.
I never was a big fan of that. Like my family is from the East Coast, but how can you run a team on the East Coast and have a team on the West Coast? That's just, I know now technology is different, but we're talking about like 2004 when they started doing this, and just those 20 years has changed a whole lot. So with them actually having it out here and him being hands on, I think it's helped a whole lot. But I think he had a little too much power to begin with.
Oh yeah, Jed. He had a lot of power, too much in the beginning, but now over the years, I think since the Harbaugh era, he's really matured into being one of the better owners out there. I think it's a testament to what not only John and Kyle have created here with the 49ers organization, but what Jed has done, being hands off that he's a good owner. They've created a really good workplace environment, a really good culture. The culture is really
Yeah,
good.
yeah, I definitely agree. I think the culture is probably the biggest thing that they've had. And maybe I'm wrong here, and this is my opinion, but I think the worst thing that's happened to this isn't that we made bad decisions. You could say moving from San Francisco to Santa Clara was a bad decision, but as far as like the overall decisions of the team overall, the only thing you can really blame us is we've had some bad luck with injuries.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
the guy we got from I'm sorry, I'm blanking on his name, from the Chiefs that we keep on paying
Chip
Ford.
Harris. Oh,
D
D Ford.
Ford.
Yeah, maybe that
Yeah.
was a bad decision. But
That,
Yeah.
but in
Yeah.
hindsight, it's
Each.
definitely.
Yeah.
But they were
Yeah. And
making a move.
yeah,
yeah.
and
And
if he
he
would have
did
stayed
bring
mean,
healthy,
success that one year.
he played well. He had, I think, 11 or 10 sacks. I forget the number. He was right up there with Nick his
Well,
rookie
he was having
year.
pressures too.
Yeah, I mean, they were one of the top two edge rushers. They were among the top 5 edge rushers. And injuries just happened, and, bad luck happens, and it sucks. Because we could really use a guy like D Ford if if he never got hurt and he was still producing. So yeah, sorry about that. My one dog got in.
we all have
One dog
families.
got.
You might hear a little girl come running through the door here in a minute. Hey, I heard a puppy.
Yeah,
You never know.
yeah,
But with
yeah. My one. Jeez, this dog is crazy. Okay, he's out. He's a little nutcase, but I love him.
I sent a video message to my daughter. My roommate's got chicks in the garage. So I sent her a video of that. And of course she calls me back, Daddy, where's the chickies? I want to see the chickies.
That's cute. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a nice sized property here at my house, and we got some chickens. But I have a raccoon that's going after them, so I've lost
Oh.
quite a few chickens. So not too happy. My wife's gonna get some new chickens, so she's happy about that. But
Yeah.
Have you fixed your coop up?
well, I have a coop, and they don't like sleeping in the coop. They like sleeping in the tree.
We'll make them go in the coop.
They're stubborn, but yeah, I got 2 left out of.
You got a
6.
dog?
Yeah, but he sleeps in the house. He's lazy. Yep. I got Bruce Wayne. I got a bulldog, and I was gonna try to put him on our thumbnail, but I couldn't find a good picture with me and him in it. And I was like, I'm just gonna throw me on it. So Bruce Wayne, he's a English bulldog, and he thinks he's a cat dog. I mean, he'll sleep on the back of the sofa like Garfield. He's he's funny. He's funny. He's my wife's dog. He goes everywhere she goes. Wherever she's in the kitchen, she's in the bathroom. Wherever he's sitting right next to her. And yeah, he's not a very big dog. He's a little bit lower than my knee. So I can't count on him to do too much. And if I try to walk him down the street, he won't walk past the house. My parents live like 5 houses from me, so I have to pick him up and I have to carry him down the street. And he's a heavy guy. He's like 50 pounds. So yeah, I'm not liking picking him up all the time.
That's nothing compared to my one dog, Honey. She's
Yeah,
over 100, but she's a blue tick coonhound. So
that's the one in your
she's
picture.
the one. That's her father that passed away. That was her father that we had to euthanize because of cancer.
Okay.
But I'll put more pictures up. Basically look the same. She just has a big black spot on her back, on the top of her back. She's a good dog. She's lovable. But she's old. She's 11. She's sweetheart.
Well, Jason, we got you here this morning. I hope you do have something. I think you do have something to drink there, and we just kind of want to hear what you got to say a little bit about the salary cap. So, if you wouldn't mind giving everybody kind of knows a little bit about the salary cap, but if you can give us an overall breakdown what the salary cap is, and I got a couple questions after that. And then Ryan, of course, if you have questions, just ask them. And if anybody in the chat has questions, we'll try to bring them up as well. But if
Okay.
Jason, there's specific that you want us to know, or something that you think like just random knowledge that you want to give us, you're the guy, man. So the floor is yours.
Salary cap wise, to those who think it's fake, it's not. You can manipulate it. You've got restructuring, you've got extensions, you've got pay cuts, releasing a player, or trading a player. There's 5 ways to create cap room. There's a reason why teams are always able to get under the cap. It's not fake. It's just easily manipulative, easy to manipulate, basically. And
What? Oh, I hear people talk about cash over cap. Like that's
Go,
like some
yeah, cash over
scenario
cap.
to, yeah. Is that like a scenario people use to kind of move things around? Or is that just a.
Cash over cap? Cash is what the player is going to bring in, what you're going to pay the player that year. So let's take Javon Hargrave, I mean, for instance. He got a $23 million signing bonus this year for his 4-year deal. Now that prorates over 5 years because we put 2 void years in there. Okay. Since it prorates for cap reasons. For cash reasons, he's going to bring home $23 million plus his base salary, roster bonus, and workout bonus. I forget the exact number, but it's going to be close to like $26 million, $25 million he'll bring home in year 1. Which is not bad. Not bad.
Now, are all those
books, and on the books it'll say
ahead.
he's only taken like 8, or what was it?
His salary cap number is 6.555
against the cap.
Yep.
So he's walking away with like 26 million
this year, but we're
in it. So does that mean so we prorated the 20 mil over 5 years? So does that mean every year we have to pay him $4 million each year?
Oh, he
Or
already got paid that.
Right. I
that
mean,
basically
against the cap,
on yes,
right?
on the cap.
Okay.
That's yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
And this is a silly question, but I feel it's one that, if you don't ask a silly question, you don't ever know, right? So when it goes to the bonuses and the incentives and stuff like that, is that part of their salary cap, or is that like something on the side? Is it all added up to the contract, or is that like not counted?
Okay, for incentives, if it's likely to be earned, it will count against the cap. Like let's take Sam Darnold for example. Since he had 4 wins last year as a Panthers starting quarterback, 1.2 million of his 7 million incentives counts against the cap. Now, if he doesn't see the field as a starter and plays the required amount of snaps and wins the game, then the 49ers will get back the 1.2 million. Now, if he does see the field and is a starter, then whatever he earns will come out of next year's cap. Like the cap isn't just the $224.8 million that you see. You got your carryover, which the 49ers had like 5 point something million. I forget the exact number. And then they have their adjustments. Adjustments are basically base salary guarantees paid out that the player got, but they have to pay back because they got caught in training camp because they couldn't. When players are cut during training camp and they have guaranteed base salaries, they can't claim what's called veteran termination pay. You can only do that one time in your career. where you can basically double dip that year. So if a guy had $5 million guaranteed salary and you cut him and he claimed termination pay, he could keep that and get whatever else he wanted from another team. So with the
Is that
termination
like
pay, it's
is
just,
that like a severance package? Like, is it kind of like,
uh,
hey, one time in my career I could say, nah, bullshit, you got to pay me. Is that pretty much what it is?
pretty much. Yeah,
Okay.
kind of like that. Yeah. Yeah. And with adjustments, their, like I said, base salary stuff, their per game roster bonus is not achieved. Any money like any incentives that weren't achieved that were counting against the cap. The 49ers are always among the top teams that have that. The top of like the list of how much money they get. They have the third most cap, not cap space, the third most salary cap room total to spend on players. They can spend up to 235 million at 0.8. I think it's 235.8 million. That's their adjusted cap. And some teams like the Vikings actually are below the 224.8 million because they had a lot of incentives hit and they didn't have the cap room to carry over. Like they only carried over less than 500,000 because they were very, very tight against the cap last year.
So when that happens, then the next year, they don't have 224. I know it went up, what, 20 million this year or something like that. But
Yeah,
say you go over with your incentives, the next year they kind of spank you and say, you got to pay it back this year. Okay.
yeah, basically, yeah.
So Bebop was asking, and I think you know this one. This is a pretty easy question. How much do we have left? And I think he means currently.
Currently, before the Hyder signing, because they don't have the details yet, because he actually hasn't officially signed the contract. I guess he's gonna do that Monday. I have him just under $3 million in cap room, but they can create cap room with a Nick Bosa extension. They can create cap room restructuring Eric Armstead, George Kittle, Trent Williams, and Christian McCaffrey. But if you do that, you're going down a slippery slope kind of thing, and you're gonna basically kicking the can down the road, and you're gonna. I did an article way back before free agency talking about if they restructured the 6 players, those 4 plus the ones they did do, Ward and Warner, they would lose like 31 million in cap room next year. Or wait a minute, it was like 17. I'm sorry, they could create like 60 million, but you would lose like 17 to 20 million in cap room next year. It was like an enormous amount. That's why I say you don't want to restructure every contract just because fans are like, oh, we got to get this guy, that guy. Oh my God, he's available. Like I've seen people say, oh, let's trade for Buda Baker. I'm like, they're not even going to trade him to us anyway. We're in the same division. I'm not sure which safety position he plays anyway.
And we'd have to pay extra. We'd have to pay extra than anybody else. I truly, I feel like we shouldn't be trading for starters because we're going to get shafted if we trade for starters. Yes,
we
trade
should
for
trade
depth.
for more like depth, like on the edge, like we did with Amenahu and Willis. Like we did those trades. Those kind of trades are what I'd like to see happen.
And
bring in a guy that can compete. That might be able to compete. Yeah.
If we're going to bring in somebody big, I like it through free agency because you're going to have to pay the salary anyways. So why have to give up capital and the salary?
Exactly.
You could use
That's
that
why,
capital to get cheaper at other positions to help you make up for that money you just signed, home dude with. That's how I look at it.
And the way I look at trades is the one trade that has worked out so great for us is the Trent Williams trade. 100% that trade worked out because we were able to fill a huge need because Joe Staley was retiring. We already knew that. So we got Trent Williams on day 2 for a third and a fifth, which is highway robbery, in my opinion, for a guy that's the best left tackle in the game. So
fuck you, Dan Snyder.
Yep. I never thought Snyder would do a deal with Kyle Shanahan, but hey, he did it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think the writing was on the wall, and I think when you've got a player that's like, nah, bro, we could burn this whole thing down because
mm-hmm.
they could have killed Trent Williams.
Yeah, he had a misdiagnosed.
Yeah. And then they didn't tell him, oh, hey, you got this stuff going on, bro. You got to find out on his own. Like, nah, you're messing with the wrong thing. Best just to get that guy out your building as easy as possible. To me,
like I give props to the New Orleans Saints, health, their strength, whoever their doctors are, because they diagnosed that tight end had lymphoma. Have you heard that? I forget the tight end's name. He went in for a visit, and the medical found that he had lymphoma. So he's very grateful that he found that out and that he's going to take time off from football. Oh, Foster Moreau.
Yeah,
okay.
Right as you said it came up on my head.
Yeah. Yep. Foster Moreau was the guy. I just remembered that.
I don't see how you can go, oh, let's just not tell him about this.
Yeah, it's not right.
He's a father. He's got kids. Who the hell are you? Like, to me, to me, that's almost a criminal offense. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're talking about if people don't know as soon as possible, it could be their death sentence. And you're talking about, oh, we're just not going to tell you. Head rots, the fish rots from the head down.
That's why I don't understand. I know this isn't really football, but that's why I don't understand. Like, we have a lot of technology out there. We can put man on the moon. We can talk to each other with our hands now. I essentially, we can be anywhere.
Each other with our hands now.
But essentially, anywhere in the world, we can basically communicate, right? So the world's gotten smaller, right?
We've been talking with our hands for years.
Essentially, the one thing is we can't get rid of hunger, and we can't get rid of cancer, and I just don't get that. And cancer seems to be one of those things that's, I'm just gonna say it. Fuck cancer. Okay.
You know how much world hunger would cost to fix each year?
But it's possible.
You know how much it would? $20 billion. $20 billion.
It's sad. It's sad that our country has the ability, the money to feed these kids that need the food, and they just don't. I'm not saying it's just one side or the other. Nope. I don't like either side, really. I don't trust any politician. So when it comes down to it, I don't trust the way we have
money. With the way money is used in our political cycle and such like that, we can't get an effective politician out of our circumstances, essentially.
Right.
Unless, like, you got to have people who, just get funded by people like me and you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, that's a bit, like, people talk about, I know we're getting off topic, people talk about term limits. Okay. Term limits is just what the rich people want you to think will be effective. It's not. They could buy the new guy just like they bought the old guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just trying to make you think that oh yeah, that'll fix it, so they can still continually do it. You got to get the money out of politics.
My grandfather, my great grandfather, was mayor in Warren, Ohio. It's a small community in Ohio, and he was the mayor for 20 years. He passed away. They have a plaque of him in the fire station, with his face and everything. And 20 years, he kept getting revoted in because of the dynamics of that town. It was a small town, and I don't think I need to explain or elaborate anymore from there. But you kept getting revoted in 20 years because you kept the town a certain way. So
hmm
I mean, it doesn't mean it's right, but
Well,
hey,
this is the thing I don't think a lot of people get. America is extremely different from coast to coast, from state to state. And that's why I think like you need to be the right politician. You need to be the right spokesperson for your area. You know what I mean? Not like you have to go, oh, the majority rules in this area, so I got to do everything. You have to work within your community, figure out what they want, and then you have those values when you go to the Congress and represent those. And no matter what you personally believe, you need to be voting on what your constituents would want you to vote for, not what you personally think is your ideology. Now, don't get me wrong, people
Right.
vote for you because of what your ideology is, but once you get in that position,
Yep.
once you talk to your people, you need to represent them no matter what. If you're in a purple
Yeah.
district and you're a Democrat, you need to listen to your conservative people too. You need to figure out where the
Yeah.
common ground is and stay there and
Yep.
represent the people in your area, or else we are not going to be able to have a good democracy.
So that's a
Agree
good transitioning
100%.
point. A real 100%. And that brings me up to my joke. I've actually, it's not my joke. My teacher gave it to me a long time ago, and I've been, just using it as much. And, shout out to him, Mr. Stratford. But politics, you guys know what politics means? If you
But
break down the word, right? Poly means
The
many,
word.
and ticks, yeah,
many
poly, many.
bloodsuckers.
That's it.
That's
That's it. So
awesome.
many
Okay.
Hey,
insects.
in third grade, I was in a talent show and I got one of my jokes edited. My mom gave me the joke. I thought it was a great joke. The teachers didn't. And I thought it was actually pretty good. The joke was, why don't politicians poop in parades? I got one more brain cell than a horse.
That's
That's a
hilarious.
good
That
one.
is that
That's a good
that
one.
is a good one. Yeah.
It's
So,
just,
okay, Jason,
they
let
don't
me
like
ask you
that.
about the salary cap again. Um,
hmm
we do appreciate you coming on, and we'd like to have you on again sometime. Ryan's show or
Yeah,
my show.
definitely. Yeah, yeah.
Let me ask you this. Maybe you can explain. Yeah, if you come on Ryan's show, you got to stay more. You got to stay a little longer. After
Either that or get in early, speak your points, and then move to the chat and just be a watcher. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
man,
Just,
come back
oh
a
man.
couple hours later. We're still talking. You might see my name's changed or someone else's name's changed.
If you're not busy later, there's an 8-hour stream you could get in the middle of and be like, oh my gosh, this actually happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great panel last night, great discussions. But my question is can you explain to us? Again, I'm a novice. I love football. I watch it every day, but there's some things I just don't understand. Can you explain to us why the salary cap's going up every year and what the TV has to do with it?
Oh, okay. Yeah, the salary cap going up is basically the revenue that the NFL and the NFLPA is getting from all these TV deals. Now you're looking at the NFL Sunday Ticket for one thing to look at. It's going to be expensive. We saw the pricing come out, and they're paying the NFL $2 billion. YouTube is $2 billion a year for the rights, and then you don't just have the NFL ticket. You have your contract with Amazon Prime for Thursday Night Football, ESPN for Monday Night Football, NBC for Sunday Night Football, and then you've got your Fox and CBS deals. All those deals are just going to be the revenue coming in is just going to put the cap up, 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 up. And everyone's projecting the cap by 2026 to be over 300 million, which
Holy
is a big
Jesus.
number.
So we're in 2023, 2024 season, and it's at 100. It's at 244, and it's going to go by 2026 to 300. That's like 60.
Yeah,
That's going to be 20 million almost per year.
Let's extend both
You're
to
gonna
10 years.
yeah,
You get them
exactly.
hella cheap, and then you could turn around and just stack the team. Like if you extended everybody right now for like 10 years, like think about that. That's crazy.
It's going to be a lot
Yeah.
of money. A lot of money. So
Yep.
we briefly touched on this. We were talking like quarterbacks, they're affected by the salary cap and how coaches aren't. So with the money going up, did 300 million, do you think that's still going to be the same situation where quarterbacks are going to be one of the biggest percentages of the salary cap, or do you think teams are going to somehow balance it out?
No, I think teams will try to balance it out. I think some teams will, but you're going to see salaries for quarterbacks going way up. I can see a future where we're paying quarterbacks. I mean, right now, Aaron Rodgers is like 51 million or so per year. I can see it going up 70, 80, 100. We're going to get there. It's going to take time, but we're going to get there.
Do you see 100
I
million
mean,
by quarterback by 2030?
I can see it. Yeah,
I can see it too,
I can see it.
which is
Yeah.
crazy because you're talking about doubling. You're talking about doubling the salary in the next 7
Yep.
years.
Yep.
So with
Doubling the
like
top salary.
Aaron Rodgers, I Googled it too, and we had a great conversation on Ryan's show. And I've been watching you and stuff, and I was seeing. So I went on Rombo last night, and I was talking a little bit like how you were saying there's a potential possibility of us restructuring and getting Aaron Rodgers for a 1 year or 2 year deal around 16 something million. I know that's a dream, but then when I Googled it, it came out the same thing like you were saying. So for this year, he's only supposed to be like 14 something million. Can you explain how he's a $50 million a year, but he's only getting like
Hmm.
14 million?
Yeah, it's all about the structure of the contract. He's due. I think it's $58 million option bonus, which will prorate over 5 years or however whatever his contract is, how many void years he has in it. And once that prorates, the Packers have until the beginning of the season to exercise it. So that's why they basically are taking their time with the whole trade to the Jets, whether or not they're going to do it or not. And the reason why his cap number is so low is because of the prorated portion, because it's such a big bonus and it's being prorated over, I imagine, 5 years. You take 58 million prorated over 5 years. Instead of paying the guy 58 million in this year on the cap, you're paying him way less because it prorates. When he gets that money, he won't get it all up front. He'll get like an installment payment plan where most players get their signing bonuses and option bonuses um, in installments. They usually get the entire amount by the end of the league year. So that's the best way to explain it. It's about structure and prorated portions. It's just prorating the bonus over 5 years.
And prorate exactly means what? I'm sorry.
Prorating means you take the signing bonus or option bonus and you divide it by 5
Well, you
or
divide it
however
by
long
the increment.
yeah.
So let's
You
say
take
you're moving in halfway through the month. So they're going to prorate instead
yep,
of you paying for the whole month. They're going to prorate, 15 days
exactly.
divided by the rent, and that's your rent divided by 31, and then times 15 equals your
Yep.
prorate.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking at too, because it says he's supposed to be there till like 2027 if nothing happens, and he's supposed to get so much money. But for this year, it would be about 14 million. Um,
Yeah.
why do you think the Jets aren't jumping on it just yet? Is it the numbers, or are they trying to wait until after April, until after the draft, or they try to wait till the
I
summer?
I my personal opinion is I think it's the draft compensation. They can't agree on what they want to give up, or Green Bay can't agree on what they want. They say, I think it was Gutekunst, their general manager said that they don't need their first round pick, the 13th pick to get Rodgers up. So I guess it could be that they are hesitant to take on just second round picks, or maybe the Jets are hesitant to send future picks without a protection in case Rodgers retires. So they would be conditional. Like if you're going to get it only if Aaron Rodgers is still with us at that point, or he's still in the league. Like we all, there's something going around with the Vikings community that's funny. It's like the last time this happened to a Packers quarterback, Brett Favre was traded to the Jets. A year later, he was a Viking, and they're like, "Oh, Rodgers is going to be a Viking next year." That's what they keep saying. It's just,
I kind of feel it. I feel it too.
yeah. I mean, it's happened in the past. Something to do with these two organizations, and I mean, it's come a long way since then. I think it was like '08 or so that Favre left Green Bay when they finally turned over to Aaron. But yeah.
Yeah, because I think '08 was I think '08 we played him with Singletary, if I'm correct, and then 2009 I think that's when we played him in the Vikings, because we almost beat Brett Favre in Minnesota, but miracle at the end. I mean, that guy can still throw the ball, I bet. So
Yeah.
so Grossi had a funny video on it a few days ago. Okay, so Steve said that there was a funny video about it a couple days ago.
A shout out to
You know
Tom
who?
Grossi.
Yeah, Tom Grossi and his group of guys. Have you ever caught them?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
Tom Grossi is a content creator, and he hooked up with Brandon Perna. And Brandon Perna, well, Tom Grossi is a Packer fan, but he does a lot of stuff with other teams. Brandon Perna, he's a Bronco fan, real big
he's
Bronco fan.
one of my favorites.
And then there's
He,
Scooter McGruder, and I don't know the other guy. But
urinating tree.
Okay, Scooter is a big Cowboy fan, and he's probably my favorite Cowboy fan. I've never met him in life, but just hearing
Well,
his reactions and stuff.
that's their big show they have. But Tom Grossi, he does like fan reactions per each team. Like that's kind of what he's known for. He's really funny with it, and he's really good at how he does it. That's good sports. That's Brandon Perna. He's the one that I don't know if you ever seen the video of the guy talking, and he's got like a VCR TV and that set up next to him. Okay,
Oh, I might.
he's really
I'm
funny
not
and
sure.
witty, and that's Brandon Perna. And like those
Okay.
two guys are good to go out and check out. They're good to
Yeah.
sub.
You'll have to DM me their name
Yep.
so I can.
I'll do it
check
right
them
now
out.
for you. I'll get you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scooter, I don't know too much about urinating tree. I've seen him, but they'll actually have like a big show. The four of them will come on, and then they start telling each other jokes, and people will start sending super chats to like different ones, and it's just a lot of fun to watch them, and they're funny. They're just time get more fans and stuff. So, is there any other thoughts on the salary cap that you think like just novice and stuff like that people like me should know? I mean, you explained the pro rate. You explained how much salary cap we have this year. Can you tell us the four potential players that we could restructure for the Niners?
Yep. We have Eric Armstead. That would clear 11.78 million. We have Christian McCaffrey. That can clear just under 8.5. I think it is. I think it's like 8.457 or so. George Kittle, I think he's in the 8 or 9 million range. And then there's Trent Williams, 14.5 million they can create. But like I said, it's a slippery slope. You don't want to go down that rabbit hole kind of thing.
So
But
with the
if they
content, go ahead.
another other player I want to mention is Nick Bosa's extension will create some cap room. So they may not need to restructure anyone unless they see a veteran out there that they, have to have, like is still out there on the market. Like maybe a player gets cut that they didn't think was going to get cut, or a player is still out there like Yannick Ngakoue. Like I know we all would love to have that guy. And I
Yeah.
don't know why he's unsigned. So Nick Bosa's contract will probably clear about 9 million, 7 to 9 million. I'm estimating.
So okay, here's a question, a silly question again. I like my silly questions. With the Niners and the team sticking together, because like it's not like, oh, we want these guys to be together forever. The ultimate goal is to win the Super Bowl. People come in, they get replaced. They get older. We don't want to like kick people to the
Yep.
curb. We do care about our players, but the mentality
Yep.
has always been is like we get rid of a player before they're completely done. Right? They might have 1 or 2 years
Right.
left or something.
Is that what we do?
Yeah.
That's what they've done in the past. I mean, they did it with Jerry Rice, and they've done it with other players. But
They haven't done that in a while. They
yeah,
haven't. So that's not our MO anymore.
so but that was the mentality. So this is my point. Getting to it is if we was to win the Super Bowl, would it hurt this roster or would it help this roster? Would we be able to keep it together if we win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, we would be able to keep it together for the most part. Some guys would probably. We don't have any major free agents after this year. It's after next year. We have like Mooney Ward and Dre Greenlaw, Eric Armstead. Kittle's after the year after that, 25. So,
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So, and then Hufanga is a free agent. Banks is a free agent after next year. Basically, the 2021 class is all free agents after that year, except for Trey, if he gets this 5th-year option picked up.
So we potentially have 2 years. Our window's 2 years right now.
I'd say it's 2 to 3 years. Yeah, right now is
Okay.
our window. Right now, and as long as if Trey or Brock prove to be the quarterback of the future this year, that window is open as much as possible.
Because at that
It
point,
just
we'll just be
depends.
pulling and replacing players. But the most important player, quarterback, will be solid. So
yeah, and the other player that would be a free agent after next year is Brandon Ayuk, but I do see them extending Ayuk next offseason.
because they don't have to do Bosa. They don't have to do Bosa and Ayuk in the same year. They can do 1 and 1.
Right. Like they did Debo last year. They did Kittle in 2020. They did Warner in 2021. Debo last year. They'll do Bosa this year, and then they can do Ayuk next year.
Please.
So, what's your thoughts on Dante Johnson?
I know. Dante Johnson?
Yeah, how does he keep getting signed back to the team?
Is he back?
Did he get signed back?
Well, I know he's going to be. I know every year we keep bringing him back.
Oh, man.
If I have
I think
$1, I'm betting he's going to be on the team this year.
I think he's a solid veteran player. I think he's a solid player all around, but he's not a guy you want in there. He's a good special teams player.
He's also a good teammate.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is when he's hurt, he knows he's in there for a reason. And if he's hurt, there's not really anybody left. And he will give you his all, even being broke.
Yep.
And that is something on a man level I could appreciate no matter your talent.
Yep. And that's why I think he comes back at least on the practice squad or something, because I think he bleeds red and gold.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm happy having Dante Johnson on this team in some sort of way, just to know that
Yeah.
if something happens, we got a dog. We got a dog.
Yeah. He's really developed well over the years. I mean, he's not a young player anymore. He's a veteran. So, yeah, I mean, I don't mind bringing him back. Practice squad would be the preferred destination for him because I don't want to lose like a Quantrez Knight or someone that we draft over
He's got more
keeping
potential
Dante
going
Johnson.
forward.
Exactly, because we need more potential going forward. We need to develop more corners. Unfortunately, Ambry Thomas just hasn't clicked. It hasn't clicked for him yet.
But that's okay.
Yeah,
We got him and Demo, and we got one of them to work out of it. That's the league average.
Yeah, league average for a draft success is like 30 to 35%. If you do it all, take the GMs and all their drafts and they get 35% hit rate, that's really good.
It's like 50% in the first round, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I saw this statistic a long time ago that like the majority of draft picks do not see their third year of their contract. It's just the way it is. The draft is such a crapshoot that you don't know what you're getting. You're just hoping. That's why I no longer get like crazy, like, oh, we drafted that guy. Why did we draft that guy? Like, I don't know who he is. I'm not watching college ball anymore. So I like to see who we draft and then, look him up and see what he does. See his grades. I have PFF Plus, see what the grades are on the player, see video highlights. That's what I like to do. And just I don't overreact to every draft pick. Really any. It doesn't because you never know what's gonna happen. People never thought George Kittle was gonna be George Kittle. And now
I think
he
George
is.
did.
Yeah, well, he might be the only one. Him and his family might be the only one who thought. And good for him for basically betting on himself by going out there and playing his ass off.
Look at Purdy. Purdy knew.
Yeah.
Purdy fucking knew. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Purdy knew who he was.
He knew it. The injections, the injections, blood in my veins, ice in my veins. The whole thing, bang, bang, and boom. I love Purdy. I love Trey. Yeah, you have to believe in yourself in this league, and in life in general.
Supposedly Trey and Brock Purdy are in like constant conversation with each other too, which I think is awesome. It seems like they are both each other's cheerleaders, and they're just both just pumping each other up. And to me, holy crap, we're out here going to each other's throats over this stuff, and their best buds just wanted to see everybody shine.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that it's just unfortunate that the one position where you don't rotate players is quarterback, and we've really got 3 good quarterbacks in my opinion because I do like Darnold, and it's just one of them has got to be the guy.
I like Darnold too. I just don't think I think he's got way too much to deal with before he can. Like, to me, this is like he just got out of a long relationship. You know what I'm saying? We call those last 2 teams he was on, let's call that one long relationship. It was bad. It was toxic. Yep. He needs, before he, finds a new woman, he's got to do some work on himself to make sure that he doesn't, take the actions of his last partner out on his new partner. Treat them with the same kind of skepticism, with the same kind of, distrust as you did the old one. And I think he needs to build his foundation up really well. And I think I think that's what he's doing. From what it sounds like, he's just so happy to get in the room. Doesn't matter about the team.
Yeah,
It sounded like he was happy to
right.
get in the room. The room was what he wanted, and he just needs to do his work, build his foundation. And after
Yeah,
that, whether it's on
yeah.
this team or somewhere else
Or
in the
another
league, I think he
team.
might have a chance to be good.
Yeah, and I hope he does. I if it's not here, I hope it's somewhere else. I mean, I don't. I'm not one of those fans that like when the player leaves, oh like screw him, he left. Like it's like he got his money. Be happy for him that he got his money. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for the free agents that left, not because we lost them, but because they got paid. You know, we weren't going to be able to keep them. They got their money, like Omenihu and Abugam, to name a
Aziz
few.
got the
Yep,
sticker on the
Aziz.
back of his helmet. He doing big things. You know what I'm saying? He's running
Yeah,
things over
yeah,
there. How could you not be
yeah,
proud for him? You know, and
yeah,
happy.
yeah. I'm
Well,
happy
when I
for all
seen
these players.
Jerry Rice leave the Niners, that was a big heartbreak, right? Man,
That
and
was, yeah,
the only thing I could really like, I don't know, justify is like, well, at least my dad's a Raider. And I was like, at least you got the best wide receiver, and he'd say, yeah, we got Tim Brown. I'm like, no, you got Jerry Rice, man. Come on. But Tim Brown,
The
Jerry Rice,
disrespect.
that was a
the,
a good team. That was a really good team. But after I seen that happen, I was like, players aren't gonna stay. It doesn't matter even if they say I got a tattoo, 49er, it doesn't matter. They're gonna get traded, they're gonna go where the money's at. So like you have Richard
yep,
Sherman who comes to the Niners, and I wasn't a big fan of him. But when we got Richard Sherman, I was like, hey, let's
right.
go, and
Yeah, let's go.
it's the same thing with like Darnold. I wasn't a big fan of him on other teams, but I know like Kyle liked him. He's a USC guy, so I kind of like that. Any California guys, I really like, but you can't just like you can't bank on it. And then he's like you guys said, in two bad relationships, one bad relationship, but the Panther
Hmm.
relationship, he started playing good. He went like 5-2. So that shows that he's got some talent there, and he played
Yeah.
well against us
Yeah.
too. We played him in
Hmm.
New Jersey or in their stadium. So I'm excited because if we do go down, to him or he beats everybody out, then Kyle has to be very confident in him. It has to show that he's smart enough
Yep.
to get the playbook down or whatever, because we know how hard, or we've been told how hard it is to get Kyle's, verbiage down, his playbook. So
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's
the one
amazing how McCaffrey got that down so quickly.
the one thing too
Well,
with like the draft is you don't know who you're gonna get, and you have to just kind of suck it up, because I wasn't a big fan of
Yep.
them going Oregon Duck, defensive line almost every year. They did that like 4 or 5 years in a row,
yes, they
and
did.
I'm just like, okay, I get it. You're building the defensive line, but do you guys think they did that because we kept having teams run on us?
I think the philosophy for both Harbaugh and actually for Harbaugh and
Mhm.
Kyle is building the trenches. So if we were getting run on, we gotta shore up the defensive line. We gotta shore up the offensive line. I mean, I know we haven't done that on the offensive line. We've kind of focused on the defense, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with the defense being shored up because that's the best defense in the NFL. I mean, they didn't lose anybody that was a starter, really. You could say Aziz was a starter, but when it comes down to it, it was Aziz and Jimmy Ward were like going back and forth of who was going to be on the field. Was it going to be in a nickel package or a regular package or whatever they were going to play? So, yeah, they lost two starters, but they didn't lose any real key players that were starters, except those two. And yeah, they lost a good amount of depth, but they also brought in more depth. So it's, when one guy goes out, another guy comes in. Next man, next next man, man up, next man up mentality.
So with us having 11 picks, do you see us using all 11 picks?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think they trade up at some point. I think what I can see happening is they trade up from 99 and they trade down from 102 because they don't have a fourth round pick. So I can see that happening. And I can just see them moving around on day 3, getting players that they feel they can develop and are guys that they like. I mean, they have 4 seventh round picks. I don't know how those seventh round picks just. You're not going to find a Brock Purdy every year in the 7th round. So it's tough. I make the joke that like, hey, we should trade down to the Mr. Irrelevant now that we got Brock Purdy. We got that right, but you just don't know who's going to work out or not.
So with that, do you see us drafting a quarterback or a running back in this draft?
I think a quarterback. Yeah, I think we can. I think it's 50-50 on that. I want to say no on running back, but I think Kyle's going to be too. Like, I got to have the guy,
Yeah,
and he's going to draft him. That's what I fear. Because
yeah,
Kyle keeps drafting these running backs every year, and it's like, it's okay if you draft a running back in the 5th, 6th, 7th round, but not in the 3rd round every year. Like,
No.
Sermon
especially
didn't work out.
yeah.
Ty Davis Price, he hasn't looked good, but we got to give him a chance. Yeah, he's been, he showed flashes, and then he also didn't. So he needs to, this
He
is a
needs to have a
crucial year for
strong
him.
camp to solidify his role because
Yes.
we know that we're going to have some undrafted, free agent, hungry young men coming in, and he can be a casualty. We saw that they had no
Yeah.
problems moving off of Trey Sermon last year for Jordan
Sermon.
Mason. So
Mhm.
Yeah, I look at it like this, even if they don't think they're going to get much back out of it, like they traded Trey Sermon last year, but they did get something out of it. So I think, if they bring somebody in, like you just don't quite fit, we are going to get something back out of you, even if it's not the full dollar we paid for you. We're going to get something out of you. And we're basically buying, that tryout, and paying for that tryout to see if you do fit
Yeah.
in. And Niners have enough money right now. They're like, or enough players, they can say, we can take a chance on you. And if you don't work out, it's okay. No bad luck, no, hate or anything like
Yeah.
that.
No. Yeah. And heck, we've seen players that they've signed that they cut and they brought them back. It happens. It's like, okay, maybe, for now we're going to cut you, but down the road, we do like you, but hey, down the road, if you're available, keep us in mind, we might bring you back. And especially that was especially with the cut downs, but now that the cut down is just one cut down date, the final cut down is only just one big cut. And so I think it's going to be different.
Yeah, I think they changed that, and that's going to be better too because it's not really nice to go through camp and then you see like 4 or 5 guys get cut, and then they go to another team right away and they get signed, and then they end up getting signed and they stay on that team, and you're like, hey, why did we cut that guy? But if everybody's getting cut at the same time, I think that makes it a little bit, fairer for everybody in the league instead of, saying, hey,
Yeah,
this guy's
yeah,
not a good fit for us, but he's still a really good player. We just can't make room right now. But if you wait, then that good player that's on that other team, you might be able to get. So I
yeah.
just think we got to keep our eyes open and ears open. So, Jason, before we get out of here, is there any person in particular in the draft that's your crush that you want?
Um, no one particular really, because I haven't really done much looking into the draft. Like I said, I don't watch college ball anymore. It's
Yeah.
more of a choice because of my dad was a big college football fan. When he passed, I lost all interest in college sports. Not being able to watch it with him is what hurts.
Yeah.
But um, maybe if I had to pick one, I like Blake Freeland, the tackle from BYU. He would be nice, but I'm not sure he's going to be there. I think he's more going up the boards of teams. I think someone's probably going to pick him before 99. So we might have to trade up to get him. But yeah,
BYU is a good school. We know a couple good 49er players that came from there. So I think
yeah,
it's neat when we go after colleges and we have like chemistry getting players from them and stuff. I know you can't always bank or, hit on them, but, Fred Warner, Steve Young, Brigham
yep,
Young University. So,
yep,
well, guys, I think we should do this again sometime, maybe after the draft.
yeah,
Jason,
definitely.
I'll
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah,
is there
reach out to
anything?
me.
Yeah.
Go
Is
ahead.
there anything you got going on in the next couple of days? Are you going on anybody's shows or?
Nobody yet. I'm probably going to contact a couple people, see what they're up to. But no, not at the moment.
Well, Jason, I want to give you, man, kudos to you. Thank you so much again. You have an open
Thank
door
you.
anytime. I go live. If you are in the chat and you say, Bryant, send me the link, I will definitely do it. You're very passionate about the 49ers, and I can tell it. And I keep telling everybody who I get to talk to, get this guy on your show, talk to him. He's very smart. And just for me, you can break it down easier for people. Like I'm not stupid by any means, but sometimes, simple
No,
minded,
no.
not right. So when I ask a question, if you can break it down where people can, understand it like me, or maybe like somebody like even my mom, I'm like, Mom, do you understand what he's saying? And she's not a football fan. So that's where I really wanted you to come on because, dude, you know it.
Yeah,
You know the X and O's. And, just asking random questions like, how much money do the Niners have in salary cap? $3 million.
yep,
You got it.
yep.
So, again, man, shout out to you. And Ryan, thanks for coming on. Ryan's my buddy here and good buddy. And I started winging it at first. I had some questions, and Ryan see me. I don't know if I was drowning there for a minute, but then you popped in too, and I really appreciate it because I think we had a great show.
Thank you guys for having me on. Thank you, Bryant. Thank you. Just thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no
Hey,
problem,
but
man.
before you go, let me put my dad joke in.
Oh, loading.
I did too fast. All right. So one thing with me, and I know Ted talks ball, he does it too, but I like telling jokes, and sometimes my jokes aren't as funny. But I like getting a joke out there. If it gets somebody to giggle or chuckle a little bit, that's my goal. So how can you
Putting a
keep the Detroit
goalpost.
Lions out of your front yard?
By putting a goalpost. That's funny. That's a pretty good one.
Or turning it into an
Yeah,
end zone.
yeah. And then so my other joke,
They stay
I
out of
didn't get to
that.
write. Yeah, my other joke, I didn't get to write it fast enough. I thought it'd be funny because you're a Niner guy, but I know you like the Vikings too. So, what happens, in Chicago when there's a tornado? Where do you go?
I don't know
You head to Soldier
where.
Field. They never touch down there.
That's a great
That's
one.
good. That
And with
is.
that, guys, thank you again so much. Everybody, please go check out Jason Hurley at 49ers Cat, No Border Sports. Check me out if you like it. Watch the video, share. Please go back and watch the show last night. Again, we had too many jokes, a lot of good
Bro.
fun, and
I'm
it's
gonna
every
go.
Friday.
I'm gonna go set in the chapters here right after this. So in a couple hours, you'll be able to go all through it.
And Jason, man, I'm going to say it. I don't think Ryan's going to mind it at all. If we see you next Friday on the call-in show, man, that would be great. It really would be. We have a lot of
Oh,
fun.
Yeah, definitely.
I
Like
dropped
I
him
said,
a link.
sorry about last night. I was just busy
Oh,
doing
you're good.
things, and yeah,
Look, I just
definitely
dropped a
Friday.
link just in case you were. It's
Yeah,
like, hey, if you got nothing
yeah,
to do, here you go, bro. No hard feelings
yeah,
if you
yeah.
can't.
Drop me a
I
link
will.
next Friday, and yeah.
Most definitely, sir.
All right, thanks, guys. I will talk to you guys later. You have a good one, Ryan and Bryant.
I think we're back. We're back.
Oh, you had some
But yeah,
spinny, some black screens and some spinny.
yeah. But yeah, Jason, anytime, you don't have to stay the whole time, but you're more than welcome to come in. Same thing with my show. You come in, you want to talk for a couple minutes or bring in a good point, and hey, I'll see you, and I'll always say hey. But with that, guys, thank you for coming, and hope you guys enjoyed your coffee. I'm gonna go mow my yard again, and we'll see you guys later. Yeah, oh, go check
Peace.
out John J. Ultimate Report. He's having a show today, and Beto's having a show, I think, later tonight too. I think he's doing the duck races. So, or bingo. We'll have to tune in.
You said it wrong.
Oh.
That's another joke from last night. That's another joke
Yep.
from last night. Make sure to tune in.
Thank you, everybody in the chat. And with that, you guys stay faithful. We'll see you next time.
That's right, Joe.